Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, our wonderful students of secondary 3 of Al Irsyad Satya. Okay, let's start our lesson today by reciting dua with me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma ftah lana hikmataka wa ansur alayna min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma nawwir qalbi bi nuri hidayatika kama nawwarta al-ardha bi nuri syamsika abadan abada bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbi zidni ilman warzuqni fahman wa amalan salihan mutaqabbalan. Amin amin ya mujibas sa'ilin. Okay, today's lesson will be still about the fall of Makkah. Previously you have read the Conquest of Makkah written by Martin Lins, and before that you also had watched the movie about fall of Makkah. And now in the end of the lesson you are supposed to be able to describe the reason why fall of Makkah happened, and you have the clear understanding about the fall of Makkah. Okay, the reason of fall of Makkah, it is because Quraysh, if we talk about Quraysh, mean the Kafirun live in Makkah, the Quraysh tribe led by Abu Sufyan. And if we talk about Muslim, mean the Muslimun under the leadership of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. So the reason why fall of Makkah happened is because Quraysh broke the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Do you still remember what had Muslim and Quraysh agreed upon? What points? Yes, number 1, good. Number 2, very good. Number 3, exactly good. Number 4, yes it is. And number 5, exactly, yes. Number 1, all the points that were agreed upon between Muslim and Quraysh. Number 1 is Muslim and Quraysh would not fight for 10 years. Would not fight for 10 years. Number 1. Number 2, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers would not perform pilgrimage this year. That year when the treaty were agreed upon. Number 3, Muslim would perform pilgrimage in the following year, staying only 3 days in Makkah. Number 3. Number 4, both parties, Muslim and Quraysh, were free to ally themselves, to make alliance with whomever they wish. And number 5 is anyone fleeing from Makkah to Medina, from Makkah to Medina will be returned, but anyone fleeing from Medina to Makkah would not be returned. Quraysh were allied with Banu Bakr. Quraysh with Banu Bakr. Muslim or Medina was allied with Banu Khuza. Muslim, Banu Khuza, allied. Banu Bakr and Banu Khuza were old and bitter enemies, musuh bebuyutan. When the Battle of Mu'tah happened, it encouraged Banu Makhzum, another Banu. Banu Makhzum is a clan of the Quraysh. Inside, menghasut Banu Bakr, who allied with Quraysh, against Banu Khuza, the one who allied with Medina. This is a clear breach, pelanggaran pengrusakan, ya. This is a clear breach of the term of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Clear? Okay. So when some of the men of Banu Khuza who was allied with Medina ran into Ka'bah. Ka'bah at the time is the ancient sanctuary, tempat yang sangat sakral, dan itu dari turun-temurun sejak zaman Nabi Ibrahim. Tidak boleh ada yang namanya pertumpahan darah di tempat itu. But Banu Bakar, who allied with Quraisy, even violated this holy place of Ka'bah and slaughter the men from Banu Khuza. What happened after that? But the chief of Banu Khuza came to Medina and asked for the Prophet's help. Rasulullah SAW then offered the Quraysh 3 options. Number 1, pay blood money to the victim's family, the family from Banu Khuza. Number 2, abandon their alliance with Banu Bakr and thus allow Medina to punish them. And number 3, declare that the Treaty of Hudaybiyah is dissolved. Menyatakan bahwa perjanjian Hudaybiyah sudah tidak berlaku lagi. So, as the first 2 options mean a great loss of prestige, kehilangan kehormatan dan martabat Quraisy dengan 1 dan kedua itu, so the Quraisy could not decide what to do. Banu Makhzum, who incite Banu Bakr against Banu Khuza, however, very eager for a fight with Medina. Yeah? Let's continue to march on Makkah. As the Quraysh had already broken the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, so then Rasulullah SAW, of course, had the right to take the offensives against Makkah. Rasulullah SAW then called on all his allied tribe for help in the assault on Makkah. Jadi memanggil semua suku-suku yang beraliansi dengan Madinah, dengan Rasulullah, untuk melakukan penyerangan ke Makkah. Most of the tribes supplied very large contingents. Rasulullah SAW then left for Makkah on January the 1st, 630 CE. Then the allied armies had come some distance means not far from Makkah. Even Abu Sufyan and Hindun come closer and can saw what happened, and each soldier was told to light a fire, which greatly exaggerated the size of the already large Muslim army. Abu Sufyan in that night, still remember, he came to the tent of Rasulullah SAW. Abu Sufyan accepted Islam and then went back to Makkah to tell the Makkah that there are 3 points. Number 1, anyone who took refuge in Abu Sufyan's house would be safe. Number 2, anyone who stayed quietly in his or her house would be safe. And the last, anyone who stayed in the Kaabah also would be safe. Abu Sufyan then told the Makkah that it would be sheer madness to fight such a huge army. Most Makkah agreed not to put up resistance. Entry to Makkah. The Muslim army was divided into 4 columns, 4 battalions, each to take a separate section of Makkah, and each commanded by the Holy Prophet Muhammad SAW himself. The 2nd battalion was led by Hazrat Abu Ubaidah. The 3rd battalion was led by Hazrat Sa'ad bin Ubadah, and the 4th battalion was led by Hazrat Khalid bin Walid. Okay. The strategy was that if Muslim column or battalion came under attack, so another column, another battalion could strike at the enemy from the rear. Okay, the commander of the battalion, of the column, were given order. What is the order? They would resort to arm. Mereka boleh mengangkat senjata only if unavoidably necessary. Jika ada sesuatu yang tidak terhindarkan. There is one important thing from the third column. The one was led by Hazrat Sa'ad bin Ubadah. He was relieved of command when he was heard planning the slaughter of Makkah. He was replaced by his son. Jadi ada satu isu bahwa beliau ini Hazrat Sa'ad katanya berencana untuk membunuh orang-orang Makkah. Dan karena ada isu itu kemudian Hazrat Sa'ad bin Ubadah was relieved, diganti dari kepemimpinan untuk memimpin batalion yang ketiga, dan beliau diganti oleh anaknya. And then Hazrat Khalid bin Walid was to take the area of Banu Makhzum. Still remember Banu Makhzum? Who inside yang menghasut Banu Bakar untuk menyerang Banu Khuzah. Khalid bin Walid was to take the area of Banu Makhzum, and he encountered resistance. Jadi beliau mendapatkan perlawanan, but swept the enemy away. Loses Muslim 2 men, and from Bani Makhzum 13 men. Rasulullah SAW then entered Makkah on 11 February 630 CE. After the complete conquest of Makkah, Rasulullah SAW then bowed his head before Allah and offered him his thanks. What did he do? Okay, this is the fourth thing that you have to understand very clearly. Then Rasulullah SAW immediately performed tawaf of the Kaabah. Then he prayed inside the structure of Kaabah, and then after that he broke all 360 idols in the Kaabah. And after breaking each idol, he recited A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul waja'al haqqu wa zahaqal batil innal batila kana zahuqa. Say, the truth has come, falsehood has vanished. Surely falsehood is bound to vanish. Artinya bahwa katakanlah bahwa telah datang kebenaran dan telah musnah kebatilan. Sesungguhnya bahwa kebatilan itu akan musnah. Then he gave the key of Ka'bah to Utsman bin Talha. Utsman bin Talha, and gave him and his descendant. Dan beliau memberikan kepercayaan kepada Utsman bin Talha dan keturunannya as the post of the caretaker of the Ka'bah, sebagai turunan atau pihak kelompok yang memiliki amanah untuk menjaga pintu Ka'bah, memegang kunci Ka'bah. Yang sekarang itu kunci Ka'bah ada di siapa? Yes, belong to the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, King Salman and his descendant. Rasulullah SAW then gave and delivered a sermon on Safa, di Bukit Safa, and almost all the Quraysh people converted to Islam. After this, Rasulullah SAW then gave a sermon. There he asked the Quraysh whether they knew what punishment he was about to give them. They replied, akan balasan apa yang aku akan berikan kepada kalian? Orang-orang Quraisy menjawab, "You are a noble brother and the son of noble brother." Engkau adalah orang yang mulia keturunan dari orang yang mulia. That is the answer of Quraisy. In reply, Rasulullah SAW granted all them the amnesty. Rasulullah SAW memberikan pengampunan kepada semua orang Quraisy yang dulu pernah memusuhi, menyiksa, hingga Rasulullah harus migrasi hijrah ke Madinah. Rasulullah said, "No blame on you by this day. Go, you are free." Tidak ada orang yang akan disalahkan, tidak ada orang yang akan diberikan siksaan. Silahkan engkau bebas, sebebas-bebasnya. Dengan sikap Rasulullah yang sangat terhormat ini, struck by his generosity, almost all the Quraisy accepted Islam. Semuanya masuk Islam, termasuk Hinda atau Hindun. Hindun adalah istri Abu Sufyan yang begitu sangat-sangat benci dan dendam pada Rasulullah SAW. Ikrimah bin Abu Jahal. You know Abu Jahal? His son Ikrimah also accepted Islam. Dan Suhail bin Amr. Hanya ada 4 orang. Only 4 of the Quraysh were put to death. Yang dihukum mati. Kenapa? For having satirized the Prophet SAW and tortured the Muslim. Karena setelah menghina Rasulullah dan melakukan penyiksaan kepada orang-orang Islam. Rasulullah SAW stayed in Makkah for 20 days. During this stay, idol temples around Makkah also were destroyed. That is the temple of Uzza, Manat, and the others. What are the effect of fall of Makkah? There are 6 things. Number 1, the fall of Makkah give the effect to start of Muslim Sudan expansion. Sudan expansion mean to Yaman, Oman. Number 2, this is the start of the ultimate goal of unification of Arabia and outward expansion. Number 3, addition of fearless and completely loyal Quraysh to the Muslim state of Madinah. Number 4, since Rasulullah SAW had converted his own people, Quraysh, most Arab now admitted that he was a true prophet. Number 5, conversion of Quraysh led to the end of the polytheism in Arabian Peninsula. Jadi dengan masuknya orang Quraisy, maka itulah akhir daripada kemusyrikan di semenanjung Arabia. As in the following year, pada tahun ke-9 after hijrah, delegasi-delegasi perwakilan-perwakilan dari berbagai macam suku di tanah Arab came from all over. What did they do? They announced their conversion to Islam, so much so that the year had its name as the Year of Delegates. Jadi pada tahun ke-9 hijrah itu dinamakan sebagai tahunnya perwakilan-perwakilan, the Year of Delegates. And the last effect, now the victory, kemenangan, were significant militarily. Jadi secara militer sangat kuat umat Islam, to be sure. But was also significant on another level as well. The Holy Prophet SAW now won over the heart of the Quraysh leader and citizen. Jadi Rasulullah SAW mendapatkan hati di pemimpin-pemimpin Quraisy dan orang-orang Quraisy. Wallahu a'lam bishawab. Thank you very much for your attention. See you later inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.